Welcome to the Crystal Self-Healer Podcast. I'm Carissa Weaver. On this podcast, we blend the magic of crystals with the science of psychology to help you break free from chaos, ditch the overwhelm, and master your emotions so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day. Get ready to unlock your intuition and restore your true power as we cover how you can transform your life using crystals and self-awareness. Are you ready to get started? All right, let's go. There is an adage that says you should meditate for 20 minutes every day, unless you're too busy. Then you should sit for an hour. I'm sure you're well aware of all the positive benefits you can experience with a regular meditation practice. Things like lower blood pressure, improved sleep, improved focus and concentration, reduced anxiety and stress, just to name a few. But even with these friendly reminders and positive benefits, many empath and HSP women still find it hard to establish and stick with a meditation practice. In this episode, we're going to look at how you can overcome some of the more common struggles that may be getting in the way of you establishing a meditation practice with crystals that you like and can continue to come back to regularly and consistently. I want you to close your eyes and picture what your initial thought of what a meditation practice is. What do you see? How does it play out? I know that when I first started to play with meditation, there were images and ideals served up, mostly highlighting the roots of meditation. So imagine seeing temples, ashrams, and gurus. My first exposure to meditation was as a young girl when my grandmother and aunt returned from their travels in India to see the guru Satya Sai Baba. Everything appeared to me to be a big production, and this image was reinforced with the pictures and ideals that were served up in images and teachings. Well, this was and is the experience for the people whose information I was being exposed to. What I didn't know was that meditation didn't have to look a certain way. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions I see many of us struggle with when meditation is first suggested to us as a practice to incorporate in our lives. Believing that meditation needs to look a certain way creates the first struggle we all need to overcome if we want to experience the good we create through our own practice. With so many different meditation styles that we can choose from, it really comes down to finding a practice that allows you to keep coming back and creating consistency. The next thing I've heard from empath and HSP women is, I don't have time. When we spend so much of our time prioritizing other people and their needs, what we want and need falls by the wayside, low on the list of priorities, often falling off the list completely. It can be seriously overwhelming to think about adding another thing to your to-do list when you're overloaded as it is, even if the benefits will be wonderful for you. This struggle is related to a misconception that a meditation practice needs to be long for it to have any positive impact, and this isn't the case. This builds off the initial struggle of thinking your practice needs to look a certain way, but once we realize that these are illusions created by our minds, we can experience positive effects of meditation with just a handful of moments. The next struggle is a doozy, and not just limited to empaths and HSPs. It's thinking that you're incapable of removing or quieting the mind chatter. Here's the good news. Meditation isn't strictly about removing the mind chatter. It's about learning how to observe it, learning how to not engage or respond to it, and allowing it to pass in the moment. So why is that a good thing? Well, for a couple reasons. First, it kind of takes the pressure off that you're not doing it right. If your mind keeps serving up reminders from your to-do list, or when it starts to replay a conversation that didn't go well, oh well. Second, when you know that you get to observe the thoughts instead of needing to respond to them, you're practicing and strengthening your ability to avoid being triggered by situations and circumstances. Now for a little story. Back when I was experiencing lots of anxiety and intrusive thoughts, in part from my depression, I was encouraged to seek out things that would help me. One of the suggestions being meditation. I started to look for meditation classes and groups and found that a lot of what I came across was structured around length of time, focusing on building your practice to be 20 to 60 minutes long. As a parent of 3 young kids, this wasn't something that was easily attainable for me in that moment, but I did like the accoutrement many of the images and people I saw had. You know, those gorgeous mala necklaces with crystals and tassels. But alas, another hurdle presented itself to me, which happened to be the price tag. So my inner crafty girl decided that I would start making my own jewelry with crystals. Then I found myself carving out time away from the kids in order to hang out in one of the bedrooms with a tray of crystals, some elastic cord, some glue, and making bracelets, and lots of them, and necklaces. To this day, I still wear one of my first creations, a garnet necklace inspired by and incorporating some of the features of malas, as well as the metaphysical properties of the crystals to create a tangible reminder of my desire to have a calm and peaceful mind. Here's what's fun about the story. Without consciously setting out for this, what I ultimately stumbled into was a moving meditation with crystals. That brought me hours of calm. The need to get the elastic cord into the hole of the bead and to keep the beads on the table required me to focus my attention only on what I was doing, not leaving much space for me to engage with any of the other thoughts that would normally occupy my mind. The jewelry making provided me with an outlet, as well as the flexibility to use as much or as little time as was available to me in that moment. This little practice, that when I look back on it with the good old 20/20 hindsight, crushed the 3 most paralyzing obstacles to starting a meditation practice, while also gifting me a lot of pretty jewelry to wear. Now, I've spent a lot of time talking about meditation, but not so much about meditating with crystals. So now I'd love to share with you what you can do to meditate with crystals. Let's first remind ourselves that there are very few, if any, hard and fast rules here. Remember my answer to anyone who asks me, how do I work with my crystal? The answer is yes. But here are the 3 things you need to know about meditating with crystals. 1. Meditating with crystals is about being aware, being present in the moment, and having the opportunity to observe your thoughts and feelings without the need to respond in the moment. 2. Consistency in your practice is key. While you can experience relief from some of your anxiety or overwhelm from a single session, you'll have more lasting effects and greater impact if you establish a meditation practice that keeps you coming back to it regularly. 3. Choose a meditation style that suits you, your available time, your desired experience. When you feel an alignment with what you're doing, it becomes easier to come back to your practice every day. So, pick a crystal or crystals intuitively. Hold it in your hand, or if you've been called to work with multiple crystals, build a crystal grid. If you're one who needs to keep moving, make some jewelry or an intention bag that you can carry with you. And these are just a few examples. Meditating with crystals can be so much more than just sitting crisscross applesauce on the floor saying, Om. By adding crystals to your meditation practice, you'll have an opportunity to energetically support your meditation, be able to anchor and stabilize your energy, and facilitate emotional release, healing, and restoration, all while enhancing your meditation experience. If you're ready to get serious about establishing your own practice for meditating with crystals, join me inside Crystal Self Healer, because during the month of March, I'm going to be teaching a live 4-week course that will walk you through creating a practice that keeps you motivated and coming back for more, because you're experiencing all the good stuff, like reduced stress, a more peaceful and calm mind, and being less triggered by things around you. More of a DIY girl? I got you. By taking the What Crystal is Best for You quiz, not only will you get a crystal recommendation, but you'll unlock 20% on your next crystal purchase, and how you can get access to the Intuitive Healing Masterclass that will get you using your crystals to feel better every day. Today's episode has been brought to you by Garnet and Meditation. May we all feel rooted and down to earth, so we can calm our minds through practicing meditation. Blessed be, my friends. All right, my friends, that wraps up this week's episode. Thank you for joining me here today on the Crystal Self Healer podcast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review, and take the What Crystal is Best for You quiz linked in the show notes. Join me again next week as we continue to demystify crystals, how your brain works, and how you can use them so you can have more energy, get more done, and feel better every day.